Welcome back, familiar, to Northside LDN, and today we've got club circling Balogun. Has he got a future here at Arsenal? Should we look to offload him and get another striker in the summer? He is the top scorer so far in Ligue 1. We've also got a Real Madrid player being linked to Arsenal. We've got other news. We've got updates on Gabriel Jesus returning to Arsenal, and we've also got the Rivals show in about 30 minutes. Along down the show, we've got the Rivals show, so we will have Deji Spurs, and we also have Brandon jumping on as well. So make sure you stay tuned. And let's go in the first bit of news surrounding Arsenal today, and that's Florent Balogun, a player that's top scorer in Ligue 1. And listen, for me, I keep saying, let this guy keep sourcing out in Ligue 1. Is he ready for first team football? I'm not too sure. He's still under contract until 2025. So we still got 2 years on his contract, but let's not run his contract down. He's obviously smashing it over there in Ligue 1, which is only going to give the guy even more incentive to smash it in Ligue 1 and do, and want to be part of Mikel Arteta's plans going forward. How we're going to manage that, we're yet to see. He's scored 14 goals in Ligue 1 so far. So he's doing very well, Balogun. And I'm happy to see it. He's a player that when I've seen him over here for Arsenal, I think he's got a lot of talent. I actually think he's more talented than Nketiah. So I think Nketiah is a lot more further down his development, but I think Balogun has a higher ceiling. Does that mean I want him to be my number one striker? Of course not. Of course not. He's still got a lot of development, but it's nice to see that the development is going along a lot further. And at the end of the day, he's smashing it right now. He's above strikers like Neymar and Mbappe over there in Ligue 1. We already know the firepower of PSG. And I will say, just keep letting him source in. Fabrizio Romano's come out and said that there was interest. There was interest in the last transfer window, and we've rejected to sell him. And at the moment, Rems, where he's out there on loan at the moment, have tried to sign the guy, trying to sign Balogun. But at the end of the day, Arsenal are saying no. You're not going to come and get our biggest talents. You're not going to come and just pinch the best players that are coming out of our academy. No, they're going to stay here, and we're going to stay with them, and we're going to push forward. So it is what it is. And this is what I want to see. At the end of the day, we don't know Balogun's ceiling. We've done this mistake before with Gnabry. We let him go way too soon. I remember when Gnabry was going out on loan to clubs like West Brom and stuff like that. We never gave him a run in the team. We never gave him a chance. To be honest, I felt like we gave Iwobi a lot more of a chance than Balogun. And we live to regret that. Iwobi's over there at Everton. I don't think he's one of their best players, even though we did lose to Everton in the last game. I don't think he's an amazing player. And we missed out on Gnabry. How much should Gnabry go for now? And listen, some people may say that, Balogun isn't of the same level. Listen, eu não quero saber. Yeah, I want the kid staying here. We have to sign him down. At the end of the day, he's got a lot of potential. And I think he's a player that has a lot more to his game than a striker like Eddie Nketiah. Of course, I like to see competition. And he has to understand that being at Arsenal, when you come back from loan, there is going to be a lot of competition, and you have to fight for your place. We are one of the biggest clubs in world football, and you have to fight for your place. Nothing is given, but he's doing very, very well out there in his loan. And I don't begrudge Rennes trying to get him, to sign a permanent contract over there with how good he's kicked off in that team. I mean, Rennes isn't really a team that in Ligue 1 you'd say is one of the powerhouses. You'd say more Lyon or Marseille, PSG, etc. More the bigger teams over there in France. But he's kicking it off, and he's doing wonders. In a team that's not expected. I don't think is expected to be in their top four or to be contending for the league. So at the end of the day, we just need to convince him that this is the project that he wants to commit to. This is a team that's going to win silverware, and we can do that by going in the summer transfer window, going and buying the players that need to be bought, and also going for the league this season with all the turmoil going on right now with Man City and leaked emails and everything going on right now. We need to push on and show that we are serious about being number one in this country, and that's going to make prospects like Balogun want to stay here. The problem we've always had in the past is that we've not been ambitious enough, and a lot of players like Nasri, Fabregas, the list goes on, have moved to try and go to teams that are competing and are serious. That's why I say we need to do everything to win the league this season, because a lot of Eddie's hard work won't need to be hard work. The project will be sold. There'll be a Premier League to this project, to this process, whatever you want to call it, Garamba. There will be some validity to it. So far, we haven't won a major honor. So for me, hold on to Balogun. 2 years, we need to sign him down. We've seen a lot of teams being linked to wanting to talk to our young goal scorer. It says over here, Arsenal never thought of Balogun back in January. They wanted to protect him, as Rennes' loan has been excellent decision. Some Italian clubs wanted Balogun in July, and also 2 Premier League clubs, Borussia Mönchengladbach, but France was the best option. Arsenal will decide his future in May/June, not now. Fair enough, but at the end of the day, we need to be a lot faster in our decision, because at the end of the day, a lot of teams are circling him, and to dead off all the rumors, we just need to tie him down to a new contract. So yeah, it is what it is on that one. But we're going to move on. Very good news surrounding Arsenal in this next headline. Gabriel Jesus injury process and potential return date for the Arsenal star. Obviously, we have seen in recent weeks Gabriel coming out and saying that his recovery is going along very, very well, which is something that I love to see. It's going along very, very well. And at the end of the day, we need Gabriel Jesus. Like I said, I don't think Martinelli's been that great in recent years. And I think that the biggest problem has been that Gabriel Jesus actually plays to the strengths of Martinelli. You know, I think when Jesus is in the team, it brings a lot more out of Martinelli. Obviously, Martinelli does have to also look at his performance and see where he can improve a lot of his decision making. But the way that they, you know, when one goes central, the other one goes out wide, the way they understand each other, maybe because they're both Brazilian, but you just see he's got a lot of, Jesus brings a lot of flexibility in the front going forward. I think Nketiah likes to run more off the shoulder, where Gabriel Jesus is more than happy to drop in deep and create things for Martinelli. So not only does Jesus bring some goals, he also brings the best out of our wingers, in my perspective, and he gives them space. You know, drops in deep, allows them to run off into the channels, and is able to provide them with the final ball. So I think, listen, the sooner we can get Gabriel back in the team, the better the chances is of us going forward to win the league. Over here on Twitter, you say Jesus says he could come back in 5 weeks. So they're predicting 5 weeks for Jesus to be back. And listen, I can't wait for him to be back, man. At the end of the day, he's been excellent since coming to Arsenal, in my opinion. Would I like some more goals? Yes, but I still think he's an amazing player, and he suits this system perfectly. Suits it absolutely perfectly. Should the Brazilian recover at a faster rate, he could return at the end of February, with the Gunners visiting Leicester on the 25th of February. Everton visit the Emirates on the 1st of March, and supporters are hopeful Jesus is back in action by then. Listen, I definitely would love it if he could come back any sooner. But at the same time, we have to, this is why I wanted a striker in the transfer window, but now it's a bit too late, because Jesus, when he comes back, isn't, you know, he's going to have to get match fit. You know, he's got to build a bit of momentum. It's not just come back from injury and you're ready to go. You know, a lot of players need to get into the rhythm. They need to, you know, get a bit of game time, get some minutes before they hit their peak powers. So he probably won't be at peak powers. But listen, at the end of the day, even a 50% Gabriel Jesus is still better than having no other rotation on the bench for Eddie Nketiah. We saw how he come unstuck against Everton in the last match. When he comes back, he should be back for the second game against Everton, and he can offer something different off the bench. The same that we've got with Trossard and Martinelli. You know, we've got, if Martinelli isn't doing the job, then you've got Trossard to come on. And this is great options. This is what you want to see. So hopefully, 5 more weeks without Gabriel Jesus. Hopefully Nketiah can fill in those boots and actually do a job, and we can push forward. But yeah, people, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribing, and we will be doing a heated rivals show in soon. We're going to have Deji and Brandon jumping on, so make sure you're tuned in for that. And let me know about Gabriel Jesus. What's your thoughts on Gabriel Jesus? What's your thoughts on Balogun being linked to other teams around Europe? What do you make of it? The next bit of news we've got here: agent of Real Madrid winger in London amid Arsenal links. Arsenal are once again being linked with a move for Marcos Asensio, with his agents reportedly heading to London this week for talks. This is definitely a transfer that I don't want to see. This is the pucaria that I do not want to see. I don't want Asensio here at Arsenal. At the end of the day, Project Asensio over there at Real Madrid has failed. I don't need another guy that's not been good enough for his parent club, and we're going in, getting their car boot sell and their hand-me-downs. At the end of the day, for me, this is not even one of them. This is a hand-me-down, and I'm sick and tired of us going for hand-me-downs. I was already not happy with Jorginho. Já não quero mais hand-me-downs coming over here to the club. Asensio had his time to prove himself. Yeah, he didn't prove himself to be an elite player, just like Isco. There was once upon a time we were linked to Isco. I remember we was linked to Isco. That ship has sailed for now. I don't want to go in for no Asensio, no Isco, none of these deadwood players. At the end of the day, they haven't cut it at Real Madrid. We're supposed to be competing with Real Madrid. If he's not good enough for Real Madrid, he ain't good enough for my club. I'm not going on with any of this, oh, we can do your job and all this bullshit. No quiero ver ni una de esa porcaria. Yeah, because at the end of the day, we got Jorginho, and what was the excuse? Oh, we can do a job. Who looked better? Onana against Everton or Jorginho? I think it's very clear to see that Onana was the better player. So we need to learn from our mistakes. At the end of the day, it's not about doing the job. We're trying to go for the title. Is this player better than what we have? No, he's not. He's not better than Martinelli. He's not, arguably not even better than Trossard. Is he better than Saka? No. So why do we need him for? Why do we need him for? At the end of the day, we don't need bench players. We already got players like El Nene and Rob Holding on the bench, holding up bench. We don't need more bench players to add to this. We need more quality, top quality, if we're going to keep improving. At the end of the day, when you look at teams like Man City, whether it's working or not, they went and got a striker that offers them something different, is one of the best strikers in world football. Yes, Haaland hasn't kicked off at Man City, but they didn't go and get, we get rid of Jesus. Let's go get a striker that can do a job. No, let's go get the best striker we can get out there. So if we're going for another winger, let's go get the best winger we can get out there, not go and do Real Madrid a favor by getting them a player off the books that ain't good enough. Reminds me a lot of when we went and got Ceballos. Yeah, Real Madrid, when they're getting rid of certain players, most of the time it's dead wood. Yeah, Ceballos, we quickly saw why Real Madrid was trying to get rid of Ceballos. Not good enough. So why are we going to go out there and get another Asensio? We have to learn. This club needs to learn. At the end of the day, these links could all just be speculation. It may not be real, but at the end of the day, with temos que aprender. Isso não é a porcaria that I want to see from my club. At the end of the day, I've seen too many duds come into this club. Other teams, Deadwood, Silvestri, Gallas, Mustafi, David Luiz, Willian, all these men that ain't been good enough. Welbeck. At the end of the day, it don't work. What has been working for us is going to our rivals, going to teams with top players, / world-class players, and going and getting their players. Going and getting the best players that they have available. Yeah, it's no coincidence that we're in a title race when you're adding quality like Zinchenko, quality like Gabriel Jesus. It's worked wonders. So at the end of the day, why are we going to go back to a formula that didn't get us in the top 4, was not making us competitive, and isn't going to be good enough for us to push on to then also compete for the Champions League? You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I'm not with all of that. There's way too many examples, caramba, for me to come with this porcaria. I don't want Asensio anywhere near this team. Not for me. Sorry. Goodbye. Go somewhere else. I don't want more deadwood at this club. We're already going to see that Jorginho is not going to be good enough. I don't need another bench player. And I'm sick and tired of this club doing favors for other clubs. If they want to get rid of them, let this guy go Bundesliga. Let him go, I don't know, let him go Ligue 1. I don't give a crap. But I don't want him at Arsenal. We're supposed to be, going on, if we win the league, which we should be winning the league, next season, even obviously this more than likely, if we was to get him, would be a summer deal. Next year, after we win the league, which should be the expectation, we should be winning the league, yeah? Next year, I want to be going on to the Champions League. I want to win the Champions League. Is Asensio going to win me the Champions League? If so, why are Real Madrid so happy to let him go? No. We saw that Real Madrid were happy to let go Ronaldo because he was going towards the end of his career. When it was, they don't let go of players that are dead. So I'm not having it. When they let go of Gareth Bale, you can already see what's going on with Gareth Bale. Went to the MLS, was there a couple of months, won the cup, and all of a sudden he's done at it. So I'm not coming up with none of that. Para mí, no quero essa porcaria. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm not a hoarder. This isn't just Oxford where you just dump all your crap. No. I want proper ballers. So for me, no way in hell do I want Asensio over here at Arsenal. Let me get a little magnet. Make sure people, you're liking and subscribing as well. Deji's coming. So listen, it is what it is. Arsenal interested in signing Ansu Fati. Spurs also keen. Now, Ansu Fati, obviously at Barcelona, he had a big reputation. And but so far it's not been that great for him. The club are interested in securing the services of Fati, who's growing frustrated with his limited playing time under manager Xavi Hernandez this term. I mean, I've been seeing that he's not been getting the love that he was getting when he first went there. I felt when I started trying to look up his stats, Ansu Fati at Barcelona, I found it quite interesting that he's another Portuguese speaker. I swear to God, anyone that speaks Portuguese that can kick a ball, yeah, you're linked to Arsenal. Ansu Fati is from Guinea-Bissau, but he has Spanish citizenship. Now, Guinea-Bissau is like my two countries, Angola and Cape Verde. They're African countries that speak Portuguese. Surprise, surprise, I don't think it's much of a surprise. But then when you go in to look into his stats, not only does he fit you have to either speak Spanish or Portuguese to join this team. 20 appearances in La Liga, 3 goals and 3 assists. For me, I'm sorry, that's not good enough. You know, I don't even need to look at the stats. I already know that Saka has better stats than that. So is he going to play over him? Is he going to play over Martinelli? I don't really think so. Is he better than what we got? 20-year-old. Transfer mark's got him valued at 50 million euros, which is what, 45 million pounds, 40 to 45 million pounds. I mean, it's not breaking the bank, but Barcelona are going to want to get, you know, top money for Ansu Fati because he's still young, because he's still under contract. And for me, I just feel like if he's not better than what we have, then we're wasting time going for Ansu Fati, in my opinion. Like I said, from Guinea-Bissau, for anyone that doesn't know geography, there are 5 countries in Africa that speak Portuguese. I'm from 2, Angola and Cape Verde. And Guinea-Bissau, one of them that speak Portuguese. So that one tick, Project Youth tick, because he's 20. Right, born in 2002. That is mad. Yeah, but for me, 20 appearances, 3 goals, 3 assists, for me, isn't the kind of stats that are going to make me feel like, yeah, we should go in for this player. You know what I mean? For me, he's not clinical enough in La Liga. You know, even with limited appearances, I'm sorry, 6 goal involvements in 20 appearances for me isn't really good enough. When you look at his Champions League performance, 6 appearances, 0 goals, 0 assists. Copa del Rey, 3 appearances, 2 goals, which that ain't bad. But yeah, I'm sorry for the money they're going to want from him. I'm guessing Barcelona are going to want Ansu Fati to go for what? This market, I mean, if you got Rafinha going for 70 odd million pounds, I think this guy's going to go for at least 70, 80 million pounds in this market. Whether you think it's worth it or not, is it worth Arsenal going out and pay that kind of money on him? Nah, I think you could go out and get a Zaha for less with his contract running down. And someone that you know is going to bang straight away. This is another player that's going to be a Project Youth, another player that we don't know if he's going to be able to bang it, you know, from the get-go. For me, nah, I'm sorry. Nah, you know, he's got a lot of hype, but I think he's a little bit overhyped, if I'm going to be completely honest. Obviously, he's a left winger, can play in the right and can play as a forward. I think he's not clinical enough to be a striker, but obviously he can play that position. Right winger, he's not getting over... He's not getting over Saka. No way. I think Saka's probably arguably our best player. And he's not getting in on the left with Trossard now. They're in competition for Martinelli. And Martinelli just signed a new contract. So I don't see where this guy really fits into the project apart from being a Portuguese speaker by coming from Guinea-Bissau. So for me, Ansu Fati, for the money that they want for Ansu Fati, for me, I'm going to have to say no. I think there's other players out there that we could go for that would be a lot better than Ansu Fati for the money that Barcelona would want for him. So that's my opinion. Let me know in the comments down below what you lot think about Ansu Fati. But for me, I'd pass on him. Now, we're already seeing the madness going on with Man City. A lot of things going on. A lot of people have things to say. A lot of Arsenal fans wanting them to be deducted points. Whatever goes on with Man City, I don't know all the ins and outs. It won't be solved this year. It won't be solved in this year for Arsenal to win the league. They're not going to be deducted points this year. It's something that's going to go through the courts, and it's going to take a bit of time. So we still need to do our job. But the other news surrounding football at the moment is about Manchester United. Man United potentially getting taken over by Qataris. And it said the price of the club plus all the other investments that will be needed, such as renovation of Old Trafford, has the potential to top 7 to 8 billion pounds. Now, we've already seen what's happened with clubs like Chelsea, clubs like Man City, once they get heavy investment and what they've been able to do. You know, Man City have won everything apart from the Champions League. Chelsea have won everything and won the Champions League twice, won even the Europa League. They won the Super Cup. They won absolutely everything. And these clubs don't have the fan base. They don't have the heritage. They don't have the trophy haul, you know, that Man United have. You know, Man United, even with being with owners that take dividends out of the club, have still been able to compete with Manchester City in terms of finances. And that is with the Glazers taking out dividends, taking out money. Now imagine the kind of money that Man United will be able to spend, yeah? Because they're already able to spend the same amount of money as Man City's owners at the moment without any more investment from their current owners. Yeah, owners can put a bit of their money. Of course, they can't completely flood the club with money. But at the end of the day, Man United have got all the infrastructure Man City doesn't. They got the fan base. They got the global appeal. They've got the trophies. They've already got massive sponsorship deals. Imagine if a multi-billionaire to the level of the Qataris come in and actually invest. The only thing missing with Man United these couple of years has been direction. And has been appointing the right people in the right places. Man United have been spending money. How much did they spend for Pogba? You know, how much have they been spending on players? They spent a lot of money on players. Like I said, more money than Man City. And that's with dividends still being taken out of the club. Now, if they have somebody that is going to spend money, is not going to take the money out and is going to actually invest the way Todd Bowley's doing with Chelsea, I don't know if Man United could be stopped. Because under FFP, they'll be able to spend so much money because they have the fan base, the global appeal, and they have the infrastructure to do that already. It doesn't need to be built the way Chelsea needed to be built, the way Man City needed to be built in relation to what they became. Man United already that. Man United already one of the biggest clubs in world football. Man United already one of the most successful teams in this country. You know, the only team that's won more Champions Leagues than them are Liverpool, but they've won more Premier Leagues. So at the end of the day, Man United are extremely massive, global, iconic team. And at the end of the day, if they come into some Qatari money, this is scary and this is worrying. And this is exactly the reason why when everybody tells me, oh, don't buy this player now, wait to the summer, you don't know what's going to happen in the summer. Man United could have already been taken over by the Qataris in the summer. And now the players that we want to go out for, now we can't compete because Man United have the money already, yeah, to outblow us in terms of transfer market, in the transfer market of how much money they can put down for players. If Man United then get investment, what chances do Arsenal? And this is why it's so important that you hit the iron while it's hot. You already see Newcastle coming up. You already see Chelsea getting their stuff in order under Todd Bowley. He means business. And now Man United potentially could get taken over by Qataris. This is why when you're in a favorable position, like we have been in the January transfer window, you go out for your main targets before you allow them in the summer to get picked away by other teams having more investment in money, getting taken over and circumstances changing, that clubs actually, like we were promised, Declan Rice in the summer, Moses Caicedo, before these guys go, you know what, before I go to Arsenal, I'm going to go Man United. Man United got more money. Man United's owners seem serious. They got ownership that may be reflecting a similar type of ownership to Man City. I'm going over there. Big things are happening there. Arsenal still haven't shown that in terms of in the market that they're serious to go for the title, serious about winning major honours. Not in the title. Arteta and the players have done it on the pitch, but they've not been backed by the ownership in terms of the money that needs to be spent to sustain this great run that we're in and be on top of the league. So this is why you have to be proactive. You don't be reactive because things in football changes all the time. You know, not that long ago, Newcastle got new owners. They're now going to be, you know, sooner or later, I mean, they're already in the top four. If they drop out of it, is another thing. But eventually they're going to have the clout and they're going to have the appeal to go in for players that Arsenal, Man United, and all these teams go for. So you have Newcastle going in for our targets, Man United going in for our targets, Chelsea going in for our targets. This is why it's important to be proactive instead of reactive. But what do we get from this fan base? It don't matter. Just wait to the summer. Just wait to the summer. And then when we get to the summer, let's just say Man United get taken over. Then it's, we can't compete. They got Arab money. We can't compete. Well, you could have competed when you were more, when you had more appeal being top of the league. But you allowed yourself to take a gamble. And now you ain't finished top of the league and you're allowed now Man United to swoop in and say, well, we got top four under Ten Hag, just being here for a couple of months, not even a year. Come over here. We got a serious project. We're throwing around the money. Arsenal ain't throwing around the money. Arsenal are penny pinching over their targets. We'll just get the targets done. We want Pogba, we get it done. We want big players, we get it done. We want Casemiro, we get it done. So this is what we need to think about. This is what we need to be analyzing at this moment in time. But listen, people, the Rival Show, make sure you be liking and subscribing. Like I said, in a couple of minutes, Deji and Brandon will be jumping on. So that'll be good. I know Deji will be talking hella smack, obviously, because Tottenham beat Man City and Arsenal lost against Everton. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Should be in a couple of minutes that he's jumping on. But what do you think about Man United, getting all this money? What does this mean for Arsenal? Do you think Man United will get sold, or do you think that, they're not going to get sold? If Man United get taken over, is it the end? And Man United, a club of the size of Man United with their history, to get Man City money, is it over for everybody else? I don't know. I think if it happens, I think it's over for everyone else. If they get this type of ownership, I'm very, very concerned. Very concerned. But yeah, Havish, you're right. It could all just be PR from the ownership, to be selling Man United to get bidders involved. Who knows? Who knows, man? Who actually knows? But listen, the main guy's here. What are you telling me, bro?
Yeah, excited to be here. It's a pleasure to be here. The North London Rival Show. Do you know what I mean? Welcome, pleasure, my guy. Thank you for having me. Do you know what, North? I was just thinking, I was running scared because I was thinking maybe you won't invite me back and like that. And I really wanted to just see you, and I wanted to meet people like the Assembled and Craig AFC and people in the chat. So yeah, big up to you and thanks for having me back, my bro.
Nah, it's all calm, man. It's all calm. Listen, we got some news circulating Spurs before we get into the games. What do you make of Lloris being out, bro, for 8 weeks?
Yeah, to be honest, at first glance, I would say it's disappointing news, only because Fraser Forster has been like Mr. Blobby. Do you know what I mean? And I say he's like Mr. Blobby because when we played Brentford, the guy was struggling to bend down, like that. Like where it's like his back was hurting him. So for me, but Lloris has been not his usual self, if I'm being fair. So am I going to miss Lloris at the moment? Obviously, Lloris, we wish you a speedy recovery. But if the defense does their job properly, then it shouldn't matter. And if you think about it, he didn't really have to make too much saves against City on the weekend. And as long as Spurs put in a good shift and a strong defensive performance, then Fraser Forster can do a job. We just need someone to pick up the ball and kick it out, and that's all we need. You get me? So on that note, I don't. It's not a complete disaster.
Yeah, it's not really like he's been in scintillating form anyway. I think he's been quite shocking in recent weeks, if I'll be completely honest. I think Lloris hasn't been that great. And I think you need to be planning to move past Lloris, if I'll be completely honest. But
no,
what are you telling me, Brandon? You good?
I'm all good, boys. I'm all good.
See, don't lie, Brandon. Don't lie.
How long have we been live for? How long has Deji been on?
He's literally
just jumped on. Dej, I was expecting you to be smiling like a Cheshire cat this week.
No, do you know what it is? We haven't got into it yet. So at the moment, we're dealing with the news.
We'll get into it right now, yeah?
Yeah, so let's get rid of the boring part of the thing and let's get right.
Let's get into it.
I don't know why you're happy, my brother.
You know what, Dave? Every time I see you on Arsenal channels, a lot of times they don't let you speak, they don't let you have your moment. So let's get into it. Arsenal got points against Everton.
Let me start here. Let me start this one. Let me start this one. All right. Firstly, big up everyone in the chat. Now, I know you lot are tuning in, maybe expecting a little bit of fireworks, a little bit of back and forth between Brandon and Deji this week. But unfortunately for you lot, you've picked the wrong week. Because Deji might not know this, right? But I'm telling him right now, me and Deji this week, we are BFFs. Best friends for life.
Yeah.
And I'll explain why. Because while we were getting bopped by Sean Dyche, aka Steve Austin. And it was looking like the season was beginning to get a bit sticky icky for Arsenal. Deji's boys at Tottenham did the most Tottenham thing ever. And after having a shit season, not being able to perform for any longer than 45 minutes, put in their best performance of the season for a full 90 minutes to make sure we remain 5 points clear at the top of the Premier League. And I know you lot had no faith in Spurs to do us a favour, but I did. And I'll tell you why. Because half of the Tottenham team are Arsenal fans through and through. One of them being Harry Kane. And the ones that don't have clearly been studying the Bible all week because, you know, as they say, Dej, in the Bible, it says, love thy neighbour. Yeah?
Yeah.
That performance there was showing that they love their neighbour. And because of that, right, you know how they say there's defining moments within the season that, you know, kind of reflects what happens within the season. That could potentially be a defining moment within the season. Obviously, Arsenal losing to Everton, Man City with the chance to go 2 points behind and then failing to do so. And if that happens to be a defining performance within the season that wins Arsenal the league, I want to return a bit of the favour, bro. I want to love thy neighbour as well. So, Harry Kane, Kulusevski, we know you're Arsenal boys. We know you're never winning anything at Tottenham. So, if that happens to win Arsenal the league, you two boys are invited to the trophy parade. You can come and have a look at the trophy. You can come and have a little sniff, you know, have a little, oh, look at that. Oh, yeah, shiny, yeah. But you cannot touch. You can come and have a look, but you cannot touch. And Dej, just for you as well, you can be invited to the trophy parade as well, bro.
Let's get Deji's opinion, because obviously Brandon's coming in shameless, which it is what it is. But Dej,
shameless,
bro.
I was watching that game singing, oh, when the Spurs go marching in.
Listen, at the end of the day, yeah, all I'm going to say is this. It's pathetic that we're waiting for them to get a result to do us a favor in the first place. But I don't mind the shamelessness. It is what it is, because sometimes Deji's shameless. Like, he's shameless with his prediction for Spurs to win the Champions League. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. Deji, the floor is yours. We're not going to interrupt. What do you make of Arsenal losing to Everton, and what do you make of Tottenham beating Man City?
Yeah. So first and foremost, Brandon, I love you like a brother, mate. But your name tonight should go from True Gunner TV to False Gunner TV, because absolutely that monologue there was an absolute disgrace, and I'll tell you why. First and foremost, I want to pull it out to you and the assembled and all the other Arsenal cronies that are in the chat. We don't need you supporting Spurs. What I found shameless was that Arsenal fans became Spurs fans for a day. Let me just be clear. Under no circumstance will I be an Arsenal fan for a day. I won't be an Arsenal fan for a minute. And you guys started twerking for Spurs. You should all be ashamed of yourselves. Disgusting. We don't need you. But also, what I want you guys to know is that you see, people in the chat, especially the assembled, they're just confused, common sense, blah, blah, blah. I've been making statements about the Champions League. Northside and Brandon, what did I tell you a couple of weeks ago about the Champions League and why I thought Tottenham would do well? I said to you, when Spurs beat AC Milan, I would want City in the quarterfinal, did I not? I said I would want City in the quarterfinal because there are some things in football you just can't explain. One of those things is Tottenham's hoodoo over City. We have something over City. When we lost 4-2, I told you we rolled over. They didn't do nothing to us. We rolled over. But this time, man, to put you, Brandon, Northside, and all the cronies in the chat like Tayyib and the assembled Craig AFC, we showed you, man, that if we want to beat City, guess what? We beat City. And we did. And Pep's there confused. They haven't scored a goal in 5. They've lost the last 5. Yeah? So we did our thing just to show you what we're about. Now, I saw...
And just real quickly before you continue, and with that, Dej, I'm sure, you know, the people in the chat will want to say the same. I'm sure Northside will want to say the same, and I certainly do. Thank you very much for the 9 points this season. Yeah. It is very much appreciated. Yeah. And long may it continue.
Yeah. You keep telling yourself that, mate. You keep telling yourself. Because for me, you got 9 points. We haven't been playing well, but we did what we needed to do. That was just to give you a little flavour that Tottenham is kind of been coined second half FC. And I can see Spurs going on a bit of a run. But let me tell you this. Let me also remind you, because you and Northside with your chest, last week, come wax lyrical. We got Everton on the weekend. I expect 3-0, 3-1, all of that hog rubbish. And I said, Sean Dyche, new manager bounce, Arsenal took. The best you could do was get a draw. Didn't I say that? But no. You guys went to Goodison Park and you went one better. You got slapped up and chopped up. Mate, if you were losing 4-0 at half-time, you wouldn't even be angry because they smashed you, man, up. So before you start thanking me for the 9 points, the 9-point head start that Spurs have given you for the title, it means that if you don't win the title this season, it's an even bigger bottle job than we all expected it to be. That you guys are a disgrace. Now, for me personally, I will say this. I've lost faith in Arsenal. You know, we talked about your transfer window. I was telling you about that guy that plays for Spencer FC or Spez. Look, if you're buying any player from a team called Spez, Spezia, Spencer, whatever you bloody call it, you're not serious. Then I've had Arsenal fans twerking, literally shaking their bum for Jorginho. You're lying to yourself. You are lying to yourself, Arsenal fans. And then the audacity of Arsenal fans to tell me they would rather see Trossard start ahead of Martinelli against Brentford this weekend. With that kind of short-sightedness, you man deserves what happens next. I've lost faith in you. You know, Arsenal fans telling me about your bench. It's improved. Your bench hasn't improved. We had a glimpse into the future, Northside. A glimpse into the future. Because people are trying to give Sean Dyche props. There's no props to give. He's been in charge 7 days. What can he do in 7 days? And let's be real, with the amount of goals Everton have been conceding and the amount of woeful football they've been playing this season, there is no manager bounce that can put on a performance the way that them man performed against you. You guys were an absolute disgrace on the weekend. You bottled it, you fluffed your lines. And I'm worried. I'm genuinely worried. Tayyib, I'm speaking to you, my brother. The assembled, I'm speaking to you, my bro. I am concerned. I'm concerned because you, man, are not as strong as you think you are. Do you get what I'm saying? So for me now, Brandon,
hold on a sec. Hold on. Let me say something.
Crap out.
Let me say something.
I don't want your thanks.
No. Hold on. When we're in the transfer window, you're trying to draw me and Brandon out. And what did I say to you? I will see how serious this club is, depending on what we do in January. I told you the bench ain't good enough. I told you we wasn't convincing against Newcastle, a team that wrapped us up, that beat us on this, that won second balls, that were more aggressive, that pressed our creative players. We had no way, no plan B. I've been saying we had no plan B. When the first game against Man United, we lost. The game against Newcastle, we lost. I always look at when you lose. Those are the games you assess your team and you assess your manager. And I said to you, where's the plan B from Arteta? When plan A is working, it looks saucing. But where's plan B? And to even apply a plan B, what bench do we have to apply anything different? Fabio Vieira is a worse version of Odegaard, and we saw that against this game. Lokonga, well, he ain't here anymore. El Nene, even if he was available and not injured, is he any better than Thomas Partey? Yeah. Then you look at right back position. Who have we got to switch for the right back position if you need someone to overlap those channels? Cedric's gone out to Fulham. We didn't replace that. I told you in Ketia, we don't even have another striker. At least if we went to go get a Mitrovic, you can play a different style of football, start hoofing it up there to Mitrovic. 5 crosses, out of 5 crosses, at least one of them he's putting in the back of the net. You know what his strengths are. He offers something different. Then I said the same thing for Saka. Okay, we took off Martinelli, who's been shocking, and we put Trossard on. But do we have that level of rotation for Saka? No, we don't. Do we have it for Granit Xhaka that had dropped a stinker? Who's a rotation for that? And this is exactly why I didn't get excited. And this is why exactly I was saying what Filhos da Puta was saying that we had 10 out of 10 transfer window. When you look at Onana, we were linked to Onana. Yeah, we were linked to Onana. Who looked the better player? The player that a lot of Arsenal fans are justifying that Jorginho, he can do a job. Or Onana, that for me was man of the match, completely bossed that midfield. And for me, doing the same thing and expecting different is madness, bro. Absolute madness. They packed up the midfield, yeah? And every time we have Odegaard pressed, Martinelli pressed, Saka pressed, you can see we're not doing anything. Yeah. In Ketia, exactly the same situation against Man City in the FA Cup. Not good enough, bro. Not enough. If this guy doesn't get a bag of chances, 10 chances a game, he's not clinical enough, which is why we needed better. I've been saying all of this. And all I get is, Kiwior, he can do a job as CDM. We didn't need players like Jorginho that can do a job. We needed better than what we have to sustain this run. That is what we needed. And we didn't do it. And it's all about, wait to the summer. Well, guess what? Qataris are in for Man United. So whatever our targets are, like Declan Rice, like Moses Caicedo, they can now become Man United targets, bro.
Yeah, easy.
Man United targets. And where do you want to go? Do you want to go to an Arsenal team that are penny pinching? Yeah, as much as I was happy with Trossard, he wasn't the number 1 player. We lost 2 players to Chelsea, yeah? 2 players, Mudryk, and we lost João Felix. Why would you want to go there when Man United, if they're in for a player like Casemiro, like Varane, yeah, like players like that, they get them. When they wanted Anthony, they didn't get Anthony 2.0. They went and got Anthony. They went and got the player that they wanted. Exactly. Yeah? So why would you want to come to Arsenal when, if we don't win the league, we don't even have that behind us, and Man United can already beat us in terms of wages and being in terms of a bidding war. Arsenal don't do bidding wars. We don't do bidding wars. We was in a bidding war for Rafinha, we lost. We was in a bidding war for Mudryk, we lost. We don't do that. I can't remember the last bidding war we have. So this is why I hate when fans don't understand proactiveness. When you don't be proactive, you being reactive means Newcastle in a stronger position, Chelsea are then in a stronger position, Man United are in a stronger position. And where did these players want to go? Chelsea that have won 2 Champions League and a Europa League, yeah, and have been the most successful team in this country for the last, I don't know how many years. Man United, that even at their worst are able to win a Europa League. We got embarrassed by Chelsea in Baku, yeah? And the Man United now that could potentially have Qatari ownership, yeah? And a Newcastle that have owners that are serious all come to Arsenal where we penny pinch and we're allowing a lot of our assets like Saliba, like Saka to run down their contracts. And you don't even know if they're going to even be here when you sign the contract in the summer.
I totally agree. And the thing that I find so funny about Arsenal fans is that when I'm talking, and this is why I love being on this show, because this is probably where I get the most balance, because every other Arsenal fan is delusional. Do you get me? Hey, we bring people back down to earth and we try and chop it up. Believe it or not, Arsenal fans, I'm actually trying to help you, man. But the thing that frustrates me and why I'm a little bit frustrated with the Arsenal fans, especially the ones in this chat, because I thought if you're following Northside, you got some sense, is the way that these men start twerking for mediocrity. I'm telling you, the way that these fans have been waxed lyrical about Jorginho, I'm convinced that if you, man, were linked to Mr. Blobby, they'd be getting excited as well. Because that's basically what I'm seeing. These men will get excited for Blobby. Do you get what I'm saying? No ambition. And for me, why I'm saying that I've lost faith, I said it to you guys last week. The January transfer window was a statement of intent. And in the statement, you said you're not about that life. You don't want it. The same weekend after the transfer window, you get slapped up by Everton, who by no stretch of the imagination, Sean Dyche hasn't turned anything around. It was 2 Burnley players that slapped you man up. Nothing's been turned. Don't get it twisted. Nothing's been turned around. Do you get what I'm saying? He just put out 11 man. That was it. So the fact that you got slapped up the way you did, I've lost faith. I'm not so sure you man can sustain this. It was poor. It was poor.com. And for me, the fact that you guys didn't do the business required, you man deserve what happens next. I'm telling you, you deserve what happens next. Brandon, I'm looking you in your eyeballs because I know at some point Northside's going to ask us for this weekend's prediction. If you man do not beat Brentford, it is over. It's that simple. Because the pressure's on now. You man flopped against Everton, which means you have to win against Brentford at home. Failed to get 3 points, and it's a disaster movie with Bruce Willis. Do you know what I mean? So, look, I've been here, banter aside, I'm really trying to help you guys. Anyone that can't see through what I'm saying, but really and truly, I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed in Arsenal. And I'm disappointed in their performance this week.
Listen, let's go to Brandon, because obviously you said a lot, I said a lot. Brandon, what do you make of what did he saying, bro?
I can't disagree. Deji is talking facts. The only surprising thing is that he don't support Arsenal, because the way he was talking there was like a passionate Arsenal fan. Do you know what I mean? Like, and you should be worried, Dej, because, you know, like us, we're worried that we're going to flop. You should be worried that, you know, Harry Kane may never see a trophy in his life unless Arsenal win the league and he gets an invite to, you know, the parade. So I get it. But no, you are right. Banter aside, you are right. It was atrocious performance against Everton. And it just goes to show that when Thomas Partey is not at his 100%, which I didn't think he was throughout the entirety of that game anyway, and I know he came off pretty early. When he's not 100% or he's not playing, we're a very average side in the midfield. Very, very average.
Bravo.
What can I say? I mean, we got a little taste of it against Newcastle. You know, they kind of showed the blueprint on how to stop Arsenal. Not necessarily how to beat Arsenal, but how to stop Arsenal. You know, get tight to the players, keep it tight at the back, make sure that our most dangerous players, Saka, Martinelli, Odegaard, don't have time on the ball. And Everton did that game plan to an absolute T. The only difference being is Everton managed to get the goal that won them the game, which, you know, Dej, you'll probably agree with me on this one. I know Northside already does, right? But to bring it back to the game and bring it back to the goal, I mean, I have no idea, right? I'm hoping you can shed some light on this, right? I have no idea why on earth are you asking Martin Odegaard, the weakest player in our team, to pick up Tarkovsky at a fucking corner? Like that in itself is a complete joke. The guy's, you know, a lot taller, a lot stronger, and you're asking Odegaard to pick him up at a corner. It's just unreal, unbelievable. Apart from that, Everton created the better chances. We didn't really have any chances at all. I don't think Martinelli definitely wasn't in the game, and he deserved to be substituted. But in saying that, Nketiah wasn't in the game. Probably should have stopped at home. Bukayo Saka, he did all right in patches, but apart from that, he wasn't really in the game. We just got absolutely schooled, really. You know.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, it's like with the whole Trossard thing. I think Trossard came on for Martinelli, and he was better. But when you look at the performance that Martinelli put in the first half and what Trossard put in the second half, there wasn't much difference. And that's because Everton's game plan was worked to an absolute T. Like, there was no space. Martin Odegaard, again, non-existent. It just goes to show that this boy, he's got quality and he's very good at making them final passes and creating little pretty patterns and that in the midfield. But if you put somebody on him who's a bad boy, let's just say like a Christian, like a Romero at Spurs, you put somebody like that in your midfield on Martin Odegaard for the entire game, you don't want it. You don't want it. The guy's a pussy.
Yeah.
He's a pussy.
He didn't play.
At the end of the day, right, if you go back over all our games this season and you have a look at how many goals Martin Odegaard has been involved in, whether that be him scoring the goal, him creating an assist, or him, being part of the play that has led to a goal, 90% of our goals have come through him. So you stop Odegaard, you stop Arsenal pretty much. And, that's not good enough. It's really, really not good enough. So hopefully...
It's not surprising though, Brandon, because we've seen this against Newcastle. We've seen this against Man United in the first game. As soon as you press this Arsenal team and don't allow them to play, you nullify them. And what a surprise that the penny just dropped. Tottenham did the exact same thing against Man City. Where did Arteta learn his football? From Pep. You press them, you don't allow them to play, there's no service to the striker. Haaland was flipping out, and the same way Nketiah was getting no service. And what I look at it as this, one thing about Pep, he's a tinker. Every time he comes to the Champions League, we always say this guy tinkers. But all great managers tinker. It either works for you, it doesn't work for you. But you have to be flexible. Not saying that you change your whole system, but you're able to adapt your system depending on the opposition that you're facing. What do we have, and how do we adapt our system under Arteta? Because I'm yet to see it, because every time that we can't play through the middle and it's congested, we don't know how to react. And a lot of it goes down to the players. These men get rattled, when you're seeing the dark hearts from players like Mopai and players like that start doing dark hearts. We get rattled, bro. We get rattled and we don't know how to react. And I think it's ridiculous. The amount of chances that Calvert-Lewin had, he could have had a hat-trick in that game, Calvert-Lewin. Onana could have had a goal. He had a header. Do you know what I'm saying? We're making McNeil look like he's sourcing. Even Iwobi, this guy is terrible. Terrible, but we're making him look class. Why? Because we didn't fix our Achilles heel. We knew what it was, but we didn't bother. And you know why? Because this fan base accept it. There's always an excuse. This guy can do a job. This guy can do a job. How come all the players that can do a job, like Nketiah, like Jorginho, all these men, why didn't they turn up? I tell you why. Because the fact that you're telling me certain players can do a job is because you yourself don't rate these players. That is why. But it's always, don't worry, don't panic. It's only one game. It's only one game. When you're in a title race, you cannot drop points like this. You can't. And one thing I've loved about this season, compared to other seasons, every other season, Arsenal always wait, for other teams to do us favors. This season, we've been getting the job done. So it's irrelevant what happens Tottenham against Man City. We've done our job, So let's not get it twisted. The reason we're in this situation is because we do our job, and it's irrelevant if Man City pick up their 3 points. We picked up our 3 points this weekend, and we move. But instead, we're here praying that Tottenham do a job to do us a favor, to help us. We should be 8 points clear. And that's why I'm pissed off. Yes, we're 5 points clear, but we should be 8 points clear. And now we're going in to Brentford game and going into the Man City game, games that we can now not afford, like Deji said, to drop points. And it's not good enough. But all I keep seeing from certain Arsenal fan cams is, it doesn't matter. Spurs, it's only one game. Let's not panic. This is what I heard last season, when we didn't do what we need to do in January. Don't panic. And we bottled the top 4 to Spurs. If we bottle this league, all our rivals are there, like Wolves, like Deji. All our rivals are there, waiting for us to flop.
I can't wait.
He doesn't even care where Tottenham finishes this season. He's more concerned about if we bottle it or not. My cousin downstairs, a Man United supporter, he cares more about what we're doing. He don't even care where Man United finished this season.
Do you know why?
Man United winning,
because everything is in place for you, man, to win the league. And, you know, yeah, I take the argument you guys weren't expected. You guys were hoping for top 4. But when you're in a position, you have to strike. And this is your time to strike. Everything is going in your favor. But what you've just talked about is what I've been seeing from the Arsenal faithful all season. The Arsenal fans are bottle jobs and they're afraid of success. They're pussies. Brandon, you said it. Everyone is pussying out. The board is saying it. You're not really about that life. And that's why I said that this season, that's why Arteta disrespected the FA Cup. Because he's so scared that they're playing too many matches. So let's come out of the FA Cup so we can focus and go for broke. That's a risky tactic, because if you end up with nothing, you're going to get slapped up. The other thing is, I
don't want to disturb you, but you just brought up, that's a great point. Last season, what happened? Did Arteta not throw away the FA Cup to focus on the league? Yeah. Did we not bottle it? So why do the same thing, bro? This is what I'm saying. He's doing the same mistakes now. He threw away all the cup competitions so we can focus on the league. We still bottled it. Why? Because we wasn't prepared. We let 6 players go in January, didn't replace them. Laughing at Tottenham, we're going to get top 4. Oh, we're ahead of you. Your managers just come in fresh. We laughed at you. Who was laughing at the end of the season? But anyway,
exactly.
Go on.
Who was laughing at the end of the season? So, you know, and the thing is, like I said, I think the Arsenal faithful, they lack the kind of ambition that the club needs. You know, you need fans that are ambitious and not twerking for signings like Jorginho and this guy that plays for Spencer FC and trying to convince me that you guys have signed some decent players. The other thing that is quite concerning is that out of every team in the league this year, you man are yet to have a blip. Now, one thing we know about the Premier League, given that it's the best league in the world, is that every team has a moment of madness in the season. Whether it be 2 or 3 games you don't win. You remember last season when you lost 3 games on the bounce? The one I predicted, Palace, Brighton, Southampton. Guess what, lads? You men ain't had your blip yet. And one thing I can assure you, that blip is going to come. We know that, Brandon. Brandon, I'm looking at you in your eyes and you ain't even moved one bit right now. So you know, and you're expecting there to be a blip from Arsenal. The other thing is, teams like Tottenham, this time last year, we went on a run. So dare I say, we hung in there during our worst period. Now all the man them are back. I can see Spurs kicking on. And so my prediction about the Champions League is even more stronger than it is. It wasn't looking that way before, but I can't lie. The way we disposed of City on Sunday, man can pump his chest that I think Tottenham can do something in the Champions League. However, one thing I know Arsenal's good at, you man are good at flopping in the business end of the season. You've been doing it for the last 18 years. Sorry, Arsenal fans. Man has to drop some home truths. They don't call me the Arsenal Slayer for nothing. But you, man, are notoriously poor in the business end of the season. So I've come on the show to remind you lot. I hope, Brandon, because you've been pretty quiet tonight, because I know you're shitting yourself. It's all right. You get me? I'm here to hold you man's hand. Yeah? You, man, need to beat Brentford. Do you hear me?
Look how close he's coming to the camera. Look at him.
If you don't beat Brentford, you're going to get slapped up. Look, I don't know if you saw it, North, but I had an Arsenal fan trying to tell me that he thinks that you man will beat City. So I want to ask you, Brandon, and you, Northside, do you honestly think that your team can beat City?
Big up to Jez. Go on, Brandon. I'll let you answer that first.
If you'd have asked me before this Everton performance, and you're right, every team goes through a blip, and I'm praying that we beat Brentford this weekend, because I tell you now, if we don't, oh mate. If you'd have asked me before Everton, I would have said to you, yes, I think we can get 4 points out of Man City this season. because Man City are not the same City that they have been. I think we've been playing the better football. We've been bopping teams as well, you know. And as Northside said, we haven't really had to rely on other teams to get results because we've been getting the job done. However, after the Everton game, I mean, I'll be able to tell you more next week after Brentford, but after the Everton game, I do worry. I do worry a little bit. I ain't gonna lie.
I'm not gonna lie, I've lost my faith before Northside comes in. I've lost my faith. You know me, I've been saying it up until the Everton game that I think Arsenal could go unbeaten from now to the end of the season. I don't trust you, man. I don't trust you, man. I don't trust your club. I don't trust your supporters.
I don't blame you.
I don't trust
you. Made a statement. You made a statement, yeah, and I remember Brandon agreed, yeah. And I waited, holding, like, I said, you know what? A lot of times I get vexed and I vent a lot through this channel, yeah, and I hear a lot what the chat are saying, what the people that watch are saying as well, yeah, because I'm always open to other people's opinion. And when you said about, you know, Arsenal being Leicester, I said, listen, I looked at it and I said, if we use January transfer window to really go at it, you know, I'm not even saying the same level as Chelsea, because that was a complete madness. But even if we did half their business, it's still an intent. Half of that business will still be an intent. Even if we bought 3 top players in January, I'd say, you know what, I have a lot more chest. And that is why I was like, you know what, let's see, innit? Because I was looking at it and I said, you know, Leicester, they're a selling club. They can't offer the wages. They can't offer European football, you know, every year, etc. They're not the same level of football club as Arsenal. Let's be real. So I said, let me wait. But then when I see this January transfer window, and it's another window that we don't utilize it to really strengthen our squad and really go for it, especially in the position that we are, I agree. This can be a Leicester because we've not strengthened the way that we need to. We haven't put players in there that can really compete. The only thing we can really say is that we've got now competition for Martinelli. Before this January transfer window, the only other position that we had on the pitch that we had adequate replacement and rotation is Zinchenko Tierney. After this January transfer window, all you have is Martinelli Trossard, which I'm happy with, but we needed more. Like I said, Granit Xhaka wasn't at it. Who do we have to come off the bench? Fabio Vieira come on for Odegaard. What have I said about Fabio Vieira? And in reality, Odegaard should be the bench to somebody that is levels to play in that number 10 role. So at the end of the day, it's not good enough. Who is the striker to come in when Nketiah isn't getting the service, isn't doing what he needs to do? Gets one chance in the game, one-on-one with the goalkeeper, and he hits it so high, it hit fucking the flipping Sky satellite or the Virgin Media satellite, bro. Ain't good enough. It's not good enough. And this is what it takes. At the end of the day, no matter what people say about Man City, no one has spoken that actually they can just drop Haaland and play Alvarez as the false 9. He's able to do it. And that team reacts a lot better with a false 9. So they can say, you know what, Haaland, you ain't been up to the job. You go bench, we go back to false 9. When they play the false 9, the whole squad starts ticking over again. They got someone dropping in deep, which gives more space to Grealish, who I think has been underperforming, gives Mahrez more space, and all of a sudden they can go on a run. That team has players that have the experience and the knowledge to go on 15-game run, 12-game run, 10-game run of just wins. None of our players know how to do that during the league on the crunch end of the season. Because I tell you what, I didn't see the minimum, take away tactics, take away players. The minimum you want is heart and desire and your manager to actually have the balls to try something. Why are Tottenham fans angry with Conte? Because when plan A don't work, he has no plan B. We don't have players that can play a different system. Everything is like for like, doing the same old thing. And when you nullify us, we don't know how to react. I at least expect you to bust a gut, win the second balls, run down the channels, you know, leave everything on the pitch. But I didn't see any of that. At the minimum, even if you do being at the minimum, I expect that. But I didn't even see that, bro. So what's going on?
Yeah, and I think for me, the other thing, bro, I totally agree. And thank you, because, you know, at the beginning of the season, Brandon, you were there as well. I talked about the fact that Haaland and the Núñez impact and what it means. You know, I said I'm not going to go for the lazy prediction that it's going to be between City and Liverpool. I said because of the striker element, and Northside, you're touching on it now. So I just wanted to make that point. The thing that I find very concerning also about the result is that Everton's a team you normally slap up.
Well, you say that, Dej. You
And
say that, Dej.
yeah.
We haven't beaten Everton at their ground since 2017.
Oh, you guys are crap. What do you mean?
To say Everton are a team that you should slap up.
Are they your bogey team?
Well, kind of. You know how you're like City's bogey team? I would kind of say that Everton's maybe our bogey team a little bit.
Because we like to slap up Everton. Like Everton is our guaranteed 3 points.
Yeah, but you made another point as well that I want to kind of pull on, right? I'm not even going to get vexed about any of this. If we win the league, we win the league. If we don't, we don't. Because I already know what's coming if we don't. The football club are already lining it up. Oh, well, we tried, but our aim for this season was top 4. And as Deji's already said, there'll be plenty of Arsenal fans that will be lapping that shit up. Because look at the January transfer window. Jorginho. So many Arsenal fans lapping that shit up. Lapping up the fact that, we got Trossard. And I like that signing. But it wasn't enough alongside the other signings that we got. And, I can already see it coming. If we don't win this league title, the football club, the manager, Edu, Vinay, whoever it may be, will come out and say, we're on schedule. We didn't expect to be in a title race. We finished top 4, which was our aim at the beginning of the season. Whoopie-doo. And then you're going to get Arsenal fans who are going to go, at least we finished top 4. That was our aim this season. Whereas as the likes of me, Northside, Lee, and a handful of others are going to say, nah, fuck this shit. Because you're right, Dej. You are right. When you're in that position, you've got to go, and snap it up. And snap it up. And not only that, I ain't going to be able to be seen. If Arsenal do me dirty and they do not win this league, sorry, Dej, but our friendship is over, bro. You will never see me again.
Don't be like that. Brandon, let me tell you that I'm not going to allow our friendship to be tainted by your beloved club. I'll be taking you out for drinks. It's all right, mate. I'll take you out for drinks. It'll be on me. And I will sit with you as you kind of, let off. Do you know what I mean? Unwind. Kind of just.
You'll be my counselor, yeah,
bro. I will be your counselor, but I'm seeing. Look, I'm not. Look, let's not get carried away. I don't want to kind of make you guys feel completely terrible. Look, the point of it is, I am gonna rub it in because you man got slapped up by Everton. But the truth of the matter is, guys, is. Yeah, I think a lot of people were getting too excited. Do you know what I mean? I think they were getting a bit too excited too soon. Let's see what happens this weekend. I think you've got a tough game against Brentford. Looking at the way Brentford are playing, they've got nothing to lose. And I said on another stream earlier that actually every season there's always a surprise package. Whether it be Leeds, whether it be Wolves, whether it be Burnley, whether it be Everton. Remember Everton, was it last season or the season before? No, West Ham, sorry. The surprise packages this season is Brentford and Brighton. They've been banging up teams for fun. Brighton is going to come with their chest pumped. Ivan Toney's got a point to prove in the sense that why didn't you just get your finger out your ass and come and get me? And actually, I quite like Brentford's players. I think they're ballers. I think Mbeumo up against who are you going to have left back? Zinchenko is going to be dizzy. He's going to be spinning around like Kylie Minogue. And Ivan Toney up against Gabriel Batistuta. I think Gabriel's going to get slapped up. So I think we could be in for an interesting game. You're going to get a close-up look at Spurs' new keeper. Hopefully in the summer, Raya. I think he's a quality player. And then there's Mikkel Damsgaard who's going to be playing as well, which could be an interesting kind of game. I really like him as a player. I think he's the new Eriksen, in my opinion. Guys, I won't lie. I won't lie. It's too soon to say too much. But what I will say, because people like Gary need to know this, and the assembled. I'm worried for you, man. I am worried for us.
Do you know what, Deji? Is it wrong to say that different styles nullify other styles in football? For example, you lot sit back, and that is it's a very effective way of playing against Man City. And funny enough, when teams sit back against Arsenal, it's very effective against us as well. The first game against Man United, they kept hitting us on the counter attack, and it was effective against us. You know, giving us all the possession, not giving any space for our wingers to run in behind, not giving our striker any space to run in behind. And you guys are effective, even though you guys aren't that great. Your style of play is effective against Man City. I actually think Brentford, the way they play football and press high up the pitch, they're gonna make it easier for Martinelli or Trossard or Saka or Nketiah to have the space to run in behind. Yeah, they're not going to have two-man pressing Odegaard. And when Odegaard's not pressed, you can see that he can assist our wingers and our striker. I actually think their style of play gives us the advantage. The reason I looked at Everton and I was worried, because I already saw the style of football that nullifies the way that we play, which is Sean Dyche type of football. And that's why I said if he implements the Sean Dyche football that we all expected, it would nullify us. And I thought, no, I don't see the win. Against teams like Brentford that open up, want to press, want to be on the front foot, want to attack, we play well against those teams because they don't stop us playing the little triangles. They don't stop the runs. They don't stop our fullbacks like Ben White, even though he's not the most fastest, or Tierney if he plays on the left, running down the channel and giving Martinelli another option and overloading you in the final third. So I actually think the banana skin isn't against Brentford. The banana skin will come up against teams like Man City and other teams that will come up for the fight, like we saw against the first game against Man United. You know, even the second game, it was very close to being a draw, you know? And then you look at the Newcastle game, where they're a team that every time they come up against a big six team, they're more than happy to let you have the ball, get stuck in, rattle you, clap you down. Those are the teams that we're going to come unstuck against because we didn't do enough in January to be able to play another style of football. So I think it's really styles that sometimes nullify other styles. And I don't think Brentford...
No, I agree. No, you're 100% right. And I agree with you. However, something has crept into the Arsenal camp that I'm going to explain. I think your players believe their own hype. And so, you know, when you guys are underdogs, that's when you guys perform.
So you're saying complacency has crept in, basically, yeah?
I think these men think they're too damn good. Let's be real. I've already said that it's a freaky season.
Just before you continue, Dej, do you know what I think it is? I think all season, pundits, fans of rivals, everyone's been writing Arsenal off. Everyone.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden, you're starting to hear them talk about it's Arsenal's league to lose, this, that, and the other. Arsenal are now bookies' favourites to win the league. I think it's that, bro. The pressure.
I think so. You bottled under the pressure last season, rightly so. Look, the thing is, the true test of a proper team is how you handle pressure, really, and that's why the Premier League is more impressive than a cup run. Even though I banter aside and I say to you, Champions League football is just as good as the Premier League. The truth of the matter is, if you're able to sustain pressure over a longer period of time, that's more impressive than the kind of short wins of a cup run. That's just the truth. I'm saying it here, although the Champions League is kind of like the holy grail for everyone. But one thing we do know about this Arsenal team, there was a swagger that you guys came out against Everton that gave the impression that you thought the game was won before you even kicked the ball. And it's that level of complacency and disrespect that I'm worried about. I disagree with Northside. I think you play Brentford this weekend expecting to win. When you beat them 4-0, you were not expecting. We were still wondering if I'm in an iron, is Arsenal, are they the real deal? This and that. Now you man are top. Tottenham did you guys a favour, for crying out loud. You got slapped up by Everton. You have to win. That pressure is your Achilles heel. Remember, Saka, Martinelli, and Smith Rowe were doing their GCSEs last season. Do you get what I'm saying? So these men are not yet fully matured. So that's what I'm saying. So look, I think I've been really helpful tonight. I'm worried that your kind of overachievement has come a season or two too soon.
I think we'll beat Brentford at the weekend. Only for the element that it's at home. I just don't see how we can lose that game with it being at home, with the home crowd behind us. I don't think Arsenal fans will allow it. I can't see it. Do you know what I mean? I do think it will be definitely a tough game, no doubt. But to a degree, I agree with Northside as well. Brentford open themselves up a lot more than what Everton do. So there are opportunities to, create more. And I think hopefully these players will be hurt by the fact that they, got bopped by Sean Dyche of all people, bopped last week. And they'll have a point to prove, hopefully. But again, we'll have to wait and see. But look, I come on here with chest, right? I come on here pumping my chest with my dressing gown on, chilling out, yeah, giving Deji all this shit. And somehow it's managed to come full circle and my man is dragging us all down. So can we move on to Spurs, yeah? Let's just move on to Spurs.
No, let's move on to Spurs. Before we go into the Spurs, the last thing I got to say, and this is something that Deji said, and I agreed with at the time, and I agreed with even more. At the start of the season, I remember Deji said, not at the start of the season, but as the season's gone on, Deji said, at the start of the season, did you expect this squad to be in a position that we're in now? And I don't think no one could say that, yeah, I expected Arsenal to be contending for the league. Obviously, the standard of the club is to be contending for the league, and me and Brandon hold the club to that. But when you look at the players, did we expect that? No. When you're getting Granit Xhaka playing out of his skin, Odegaard playing out of his skin, Saka playing out of his skin, Martinelli before this little blip playing out of his skin, Jesus in the team playing out of his skin, Saliba coming in and gelling very well. Yes, there was a couple of mistakes, but this is the Premier League. We already know he's a very good young defender. And we already know that I personally give players at least a season to bed in because it's a very, very tough league. It's the best league. Yeah. No one expected Ben White at right back to be doing what he's doing because at centre back, he was atrocious. Yeah. So let's keep it real. We didn't expect to be in this position. Now, logically, if you look at your group of players and you say, you know what, they're actually playing out of their skin. Players go through dips. So that means that they can't sustain this level for the whole entire season because they're playing out of their skin, but players for numerous reasons, personal reasons. Yeah, let's be real. These players got families, got personal life. Yeah, you got to take that into account. Injuries, what happened to Jesus? The fact that, you can play out your skin. We've seen Bruno Fernandes play out of his skin and then drop levels and then drop back up. We've seen other players like Pogba have good games and then drop back. Players go through that. Yeah, until they become established world-class players that give you 8 and 9s out of 10 every week. Right. So we already know that when you look at this team, you didn't expect it. You didn't expect Granit Xhaka to have this revelation being more effective going forward than being expected to defend. So what's the prime thing you do? You go in January and you go and put players that you know are already world-class. So when Xhaka drops levels, you got somebody to go in that position. When Odegaard is no longer playing out of his skin, you got players that are able to sustain that level because they're already world-class. When Nketiah drops his form like he's dropped off in the last couple of games, with us taking an L against Man City and now against Everton, you've got a player that is already world-class that will minimum give you 8 out of 10 every game. That's what you go and do. Yeah? But why does the club feel like they need to do that? They don't need to, because the narrative is accepted. They can throw a narrative, but if the club don't accept it, then they have to react. The fans accept it as a whole. So that's what I got to say on that. We could have strengthened, we didn't. It is what it is. Now we go on, and at the end of the day, I'm sorry to say, I don't believe we're going to win the league, because I haven't seen what we need to do in January, and I don't see what the difference is. And even with Jesus coming back into this team, there's still too many positions, like against Everton, but shit's going wrong. The bench ain't good enough. They weren't good enough when we was in the Europa League, and we could see that Fabi Vieira still wasn't sourcing against Zurich. Let that sink in. Inject that to your veins. Zurich, that were 9th in the Swiss league. Now, if the French league are farmers, what are these, man? Bricklayers. I don't know what's going on, bro. Never real talk. Are they drainage, man? No, I want to know.
Drivers.
But this is what I'm saying. We already saw early in the season that certain men ain't good enough. But these are the men that we're relying on when our starting 11 ain't doing what they need to do. So you know what? It is what it is. Fuad, bro, we're going to move on to Man City. Northside, you're crying over one defeat. Yeah. Do you remember last season I proved you wrong when we didn't do what we need to do in January? Cool. Yeah. End of the season, don't go anywhere. That's all I'm saying. Don't go anywhere. Anyway, let's move. We'll get Deji's take first. This is his team.
Yeah, can I just quickly, I just saw a comment in the chat to Craig AFC, big up to Tiana. I think Tiana's 11 tomorrow. Happy birthday, Tiana. Big up to you and your birthday. Big up. And you know what I mean? We're showing you love here on Northside London Rivals show. Yes, what would you like to hear about my team? Because
let's get onto it. I see the shirt is out again. Yeah, that's been in the closet for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, no, bro.
Still got dust on it, innit?
I'm gonna keep it a bit real for you guys. I would be worried. You know, someone said something the other day, and I kind of agree with. Could Tottenham so far this season has been second half FC? Yeah. Last season we started off poorly. From January onwards, we went on a bit of a run. I think the result against City was a turning point, you know, big boy turning point for us, because we were expected to lose that game. But the way that we played, I mean, Tottenham have been poor this season. I have to say that was the best execution of Conte football I've seen so far from Spurs this season. Because when Conte football works, you actually have enough chances. And we didn't just sit back and then hit them on the counter. We had a bit of possession, not as much as, you know, no one ever has proper possession. But we had City rattled. They didn't know what to do with Kuli. Kane, they didn't know what to do. They didn't know what to do with Son. And although Son didn't score, he looked very, very sharp. I've been telling you, man, about Højbjerg. Højbjerg. People trying to compare Xhaka to him. They're trying to bring in El Nene. Really quite disrespectful, showing the level of kind of stupidity to compare on Højbjerg to some of your players in midfield. Højbjerg has been balling for Spurs this season, and he showed his class. He ran that midfield. And guess what? We did that, and we didn't even play our new signing, Porro. Can you imagine? Emerson Royale came out and had Grealish in his pocket, like Polly pocket. Do you get me? That you can get purchased from Argos on the key ring. Grealish weren't going nowhere. So for me, I can see Spurs going on a bit of a run now. Last season we did it. I think the way that the FA Cup has been, you know, I don't rate the FA Cup, but for you, man, that rate it, Tottenham got Sheffield United next. So we're as good as in the last 8. We could see Tottenham in the final of the FA Cup. Let that sink in. Your own trophy. Once we slap AC Milan...
Up that you don't rate, but we move.
No, you don't know. I think it's a Mickey Mouse Cup. And Arteta's treatment of the FA Cup further compounded what we all thought. It's a Mickey Mouse Cup. But what I am saying is, for those of you who pretend to say that the FA Cup means something, well, guess what? We might just do it. Then we're going to slap up AC Milan. AC Milan look to be going from bad to worse in Serie A, so I am not concerned about them whatsoever. And I was telling you a couple of weeks ago that I don't see Spurs finishing in the top 4. You both predicted Spurs to be in the top 4 this season. And guess what? I'm here to say live on this show that you, man, were probably right. Because with that turnaround, I think Spurs will probably get top 4. We won't win the league. I think we've lost too many games. But there's nothing stopping Spurs from getting either 3rd or 4th this season. Now, if Tottenham finish 3rd or 4th and they do the double, then that's a brilliant season, in my opinion. So the chest is out because Tottenham hung in for their life. And in hanging in for their life, we're still in 2 cup competitions. And all of our players are coming back from injury.
You're forgetting something, though, bro.
What am I forgetting?
You're forgetting something.
What am I forgetting?
All of that, I agree with. It was your best performance against Man City. I agree with that. But there's one common denominator that you are forgetting, my friend.
What's that, bro?
Isn't it ironic how Tottenham played their best game this season and Antonio Conte wasn't on the bench? Maybe you should get rid of him. Maybe you should just employ the assistant manager who took the game, because he seems to be able to play Conte ball better than Conte.
Well,
do you know what I mean?
To be fair, he was in charge when we played away to Marseille,
and you won.
You might have a point there.
He's got 100%. You got 100% record win-win without Antonio Conte on.
You may have a point. However, I will say this.
Can I just before you jump in as well?
Right.
To maintain them levels, right? It could be a turning point. You're right. It could be a turning point. There was. I watched the entirety of that game, and you're right. Tottenham had the control of the midfield. Emerson Royale, he justified his Brazilian passport. You know, he didn't look like he was from Costa Rica or something like that. He actually justified being Brazilian.
You look better than Tomiyasu.
Sorry?
You look better than Tomiyasu.
One game.
Just say it, Brandon. That's all I'm asking.
Better than Tomiyasu?
You look better than Tomiyasu. True or false?
No, false.
All right, cool.
He's still Chicken Royale, bro. Until he does it consistently, he's still Chicken Royale. All right. Cool. So yeah, I hope everything that you've just said there, Northside has clipped it. Ready? Because I don't know if you heard it, Northside. I know you jumped up, but Dej was talking about slapping up AC Milan, maybe getting 3rd or 4th in the league. Winning an FA Cup as well. A double.
Yeah.
We'll see, bro.
Things change. But I look, the FA Cup draws couldn't have been more favourable to Spurs. I mean, we could have played Sheffield United or Wrexham in the next round, and we've got Sheffield United. We've avoided some of the big guns. You guys are out. We've got City are still in there, and you know what we think of City. We'll have City all day long. If we could play City every week, we would. Look, for me, I don't want to get too happy too soon. Spurs have had a poor season so far.
Just real quickly.
Gone.
Leeds are beating Man United 2-1, by the way.
Yeah. Rashford's just pulled a goal back. But what I will say, in the poor season, we're still hanging in there. That's impressive. Now, Tottenham at some point are going to go on a winning streak. And I think it starts now. If we beat Leicester away this weekend, that's 2 wins on the bounce. It's been a while since we've done that. I don't know if we've even done that under Conte this season. I think we have. But our next run of games are winnable games. I think in our next 9 games, the only tough one on paper is at home to Chelsea, dare I say it. We've got Leeds, we've got the Brightons of this world, we've got the Bournemouths, we've got the lower. I think we've got pretty much.
I wouldn't be worrying about Chelsea at home. I'd be worrying about Brighton, though.
Bro, we slapped up Brighton in their yard, bro. We already slapped them up. So, and we always slap them up. So
That's fine, but
what I'm saying is that I think we've got 7 of the bottom 8 in our next 9 games. This is
Do you know what, Dej? Do you know what, Dej? Yeah, I'll give it to you in terms of, you know, Tottenham sitting 5th. You're only 6 points behind Man City. Yeah, Man United that are 3rd. You're only 3 points behind them. It's crazy. It's crazy.
And we're having a crap season, by the way.
Yeah, you're having exactly. And you're not happy with your manager. The players, certain players aren't being consistent. X, Y, and Z. It is still mad. You know what I mean? But at the same time, football ain't played on paper, bro. And you got to turn up. You got to turn up. And the thing is, you're talking about Højbjerg and these players like that. Has Højbjerg been more consistent than Xhaka? I think when you're looking at the season,
he has.
Xhaka's been very consistent, bro.
Højbjerg's got about
one of our
5
most
goals.
consistent players.
Well, by the way, I'm just looking.
Has more goal contributions than Xhaka this season.
I'm just looking.
And remember, and that's in an Arsenal team that's doing well compared to a Tottenham's team that's so far been poor this season.
I'm just looking at your fixtures, by the way, right?
Yeah.
And you're right. You have got definitely winnable games. The only tough one in there is Chelsea. But your fixture run after that: Newcastle away, Man United at home, and Liverpool away, all in a row.
Yeah, calm, my dog. I think we beat Newcastle away. We normally beat Newcastle away. We've got Man United away. They deserve to get slapped up with the way that we rolled over. And Liverpool, it's about time we beat Liverpool. Is it at Anfield or is it at Spurs? It's at Anfield. It's about time. The last couple of...
It doesn't even matter. This season doesn't even matter, bro.
The last couple of seasons at Anfield, we've been unlucky not to win. It's about bloody time we win. To be honest, if we can go on a winnable run, I see Tottenham finishing the season strongly. And I see when Tottenham get to the semi-finals of the Champions League, that's when I expect to see the chat showing man hella respect, you know, and people start to kind of roll back. Now, for me, Tottenham could overshadow you guys this season. Because if Spurs do the double and you man win the league, which one's more impressive?
You don't even need to win the double, Dej. I've already thought about this, right? But it's not going to happen anyway.
No, but think about it and share.
I know in my heart of hearts.
Think about it and share.
Right?
Yeah.
If Arsenal win the league,
yeah,
but Tottenham win the Champions League,
yeah,
to me, that's our season overshadowed straight away. Because we've never had a Champions League. So, from that sense, you don't even need to win the FA Cup. If you just win the Champions League, regardless of whether Arsenal win the league or not. But I don't see Tottenham winning the Champions League.
So you're agreeing, Brandon, that if Tottenham win the Champions League and Arsenal win the league, you will concede that Spurs had a better season than Arsenal. And actually, Arsenal kind of let you down.
What, if we win the league and you win the Champions League?
Yeah.
No, because if we win the league, then obviously we've had a better season because, as you said yourself, it takes more to be consistent over a 38-game period, right?
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that our season would be overshadowed by the fact that Tottenham have won the Champions League, because it would. Because it's a trophy that Arsenal have never won. And the fact that you would have won it before us, that will overshadow our season.
Yeah.
And it will put a big dampener on it. So, come on, AC Milan, just slap them up. Seriously.
Yeah.
I know it's not going to happen. I know Spurs are probably going to beat AC Milan over 2
Oh,
legs.
Brandon.
Yeah.
Hey, what happened to... I don't see them going far. Now, all of a sudden... Tottenham will probably be AC. Wow. Nah. You stay.
Bro. I don't
want you predicting.
Bro. I don't mind you.
Early stage.
I don't mind you guys making the final.
What?
I don't mind you guys making the final as long as you get slapped up in the final. Because
you know what?
until you've won it, you haven't won it. So, you know, it's all well and good saying, we've got AC Milan next and oh, if we get City and then, yeah, if you get a favourable run, fine, fair enough. But I don't see you getting a favourable run. I see Bayern Munich slapping you up. I see Real Madrid slapping you up. PSG. These are all teams that I think are more capable of winning the league, winning the Champions League than Tottenham.
Yeah.
Sorry to say it, bro, but one 90-minute performance against Manchester City doesn't change my mind.
Exactly. And when he's talking about that he's going to win against Newcastle, we face Newcastle. A lot of people have been saying that Newcastle have done well to come forth. But at the end of the day, they keep drawing so many games, bro. And the thing is, against you lot, they're not going to do a Man City where they're coming on to you, leaving space in behind, letting the defenders play a high line. Newcastle, as soon as they come against a top 6 team or top 4 team, whatever that they call it these days, they're going to let you have the ball, bro. And I don't see you breaking them down. They're going to sit back and trying to hit you on the counter. And I don't think your football is the most effective against that type of football. You're more effective against a team like City that will get the ball, play a high line, try to control, try to overload you.
Sorry to interrupt, but Harvey Price has just scored for Man United. It's 2-2.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Harvey Price, and you know the man there. Harvey Price. Yeah.
I'm going to read Jez's comment. Big up to Jez. Make sure people you like and subscribe to the Arsenal history. More typical Spurs talking crap, jealous of Arsenal as we win, as they win jack shit. It's been like this since 1914 when Spurs got relegated to let Arsenal in, and well, history says it all. What do you got to say about that, Did?
Yeah, I think Jez Collins is a history teacher, and history was our best lesson in school. So yeah, I'm quite prepared to have that. What we're not doing, Jez, is whilst you're at it, could you also give me some information about where the remains of Tutankhamun is, please? And start telling us about ancient Egypt.
Yo, respect Jez, bro. He's the Arsenal godfather, bro.
Yeah, no, I'm only joking, Jez. No, on a level, Jez is right. However,
big up, Jez.
What you can't do, Jez, is put your kind of anxiety and fear onto me. I know that you and Brandon and all the other Arsenal fans in this chat are shitting yourselves, and rightly so. You, man, talked last week about Tottenham should worry about themselves and not Arsenal. Rare. I think this is a classic case as you, man, should be more concerned about your team. Be more concerned about what you do against Brentford and Man City next. Because if you don't get maximum points in those 2 games, then the season is game on. Really?
You're more concerned about what we're doing this season than yourself.
We're not concerned. We're not concerned about.
You're there more excited about us bottling the league than you lot actually.
Yeah, bro. I can't lie. Tottenham winning the Champions League or watching Arsenal do a bottle job. Me, Tottenham fans will hate me for saying this. I'd rather watch you, man, bottle. I would rather watch you, man.
And that's why you don't win nothing.
I'd rather watch you, man, flop from here. It gives me so much joy. I ain't gonna lie. I'd rather you, man, flop from this point onwards. So as for me, I've given you the 4-1-1 on Tottenham. Let's see, but I think if Tottenham can win against Leicester, Brandon's already said it, Tottenham have winnable games, then let's see Wagwan when we play Newcastle. But for now, Tottenham need to do their thing. It don't matter what you, man, see. That's the beautiful thing. Where you, man, can't see anything, I see Tottenham in Istanbul in June. And that's it.
Bro, it is what it is, man. Like, you, man, want to get out your manager. You lot don't really believe in your manager, yet you're there with your chest. That's calm, bro. Because you see me, I'm sitting here patiently to the end of the season. Yeah? I give it Deji to the end of the season. And then I want to see what you're saying, bro. Then I want to see what you're saying. I'll be real with you.
And also, can I, I like to make predictions. I think your end of season show will be your best show yet. Bro, I can't wait to the end.
But your only card, you got one trump card, which is Champions League. You've never seen your club ever do it. You're getting gas because you lot got to the final with Poch. When's the last time I ever brought up us getting to the final against Barcelona and losing it? Me and Brandon, we don't talk about it, bro. Because we only care about lifting it. We didn't lift it. We don't care. You're getting gassed and you think you're going to get there. When's the last time against Man City, yeah? That was a great performance. What's the last great performance you had that was equal to that with Conte in charge this season?
It hasn't been, but like I said to you,
all right, so he's coming back, bro.
Can I be real with you though? Because you disrespected the great Arsenal team that lost to Barcelona in the final. I remember Layman and his kind of layman type goalkeeping that day, if you know what I mean. Excuse the pun. Would you rather be in the final of a Champions League or win the FA Cup, Brandon?
He's trying it. Look at oh, listen, if you win the FA Cup, you've guaranteed the cup. A final doesn't guarantee nothing. You should know that. You know it against
Northside, I'm not asking you.
He's put them. You know, in Mario Kart when they drop the banana skin behind, he dropped the banana skin, and he
I want to know. I want to know. Northside, and you answered this. No context. Just answer truthfully. In the chat, be honest. Champions League final, we don't know the result, or another FA Cup.
Trophy's a trophy, bro.
Oh, don't lie to yourself, Brandon.
Trophy's a trophy, bro.
Do you know what it is, then? You're coming from the perspective.
It depends. No. I'll give you this, right? It depends. Who am I in the Champions League final with?
Doesn't matter.
Because if it's you, man, then Champions League final, because we're slapping you all day long.
Okay. It don't matter who you're playing in the Champions League final. It's
look at this.
Of an FA Cup. That's what I'm saying.
You will definitely bottle a fight. Tell me a time where Tottenham ain't bottled it.
Yeah, look, I'm not going to lie to you.
But why you got bare chest? Like
because I believe that despite the rubbish that Conte's been doing, I did say this. Can I just quickly say this so you understand where I'm coming from? I can still see Conte leaving at the end of the season, but I see Conte leaving Spurs with a trophy.
And you think that's the Champions League?
Yeah.
Do you think your players are on board with what Conte is doing?
Yes.
You do. So you think he's only leaving because he's upset with the board?
Conte will leave this summer because Tottenham are not going to back him the way that he wants to be backed. Yeah. So Conte is going to want 5 players of at least 60 mil plus per player. And Tottenham are going to turn around and say, we can't do that. We don't have the money. Conte is going to turn around and say, suck yourself, and I'm out the door. Let me remind you that we have precedents for this. Conte won Serie A, asked for more money from Inter Milan. Inter Milan said, sorry, mate, we ain't got any more money. He went, all right, cool, I'm out.
All right, let me ask a question. What's the best player at Tottenham?
Harry Kane.
Do you think he has elite mentality?
Does he have an elite mentality?
Yes.
Of course he does. Of course he
Do you
does.
think he'll be there in the summer?
Hold on, because I want to get onto this. Do you think Harry Kane is a world-class player? Has he got elite mentality?
Yes, he does.
What has shown you that he has elite mentality?
The way that he plays the game, how he graces the field, the goals that he scores, the assists that he makes. He's an all-round top performer. Okay,
so for you, elite mentality is doing all of that, but when you come to the crunch end of the season, aka the Champions League final, where was Harry Kane? Where's Harry Kane been for England?
Harry Kane has been instrumental in England's rise in world football.
And he's not won anything. So how's that mentality?
Back in the day, England, we were hopeful to get out of the group.
This is why he loves your club.
Now we are getting in finals and semi-finals. We love to be
And
in the
bottling it.
last two.
And bottling it.
You got to acknowledge.
I'm
You know what
sorry,
you man
bro.
don't do? What I don't like about you man is that you man don't acknowledge progress. And we've had progress.
I'll tell you what, right?
Years old.
Hang on. North side.
Years old, and you're trying to tell me about progress. 30 years old. You already know a player gets into his prime 26. Yeah, it's all good doing it during the season. We rate players to be elite mentality in finals. What Mbappe done against Argentina was elite. At least he showed up. Maybe the rest of France didn't show up. Yeah, but he showed up. Elite mentality. Elite mentality. He still showed up. If the rest of the team let him down, he showed up. This guy goes to the Champions League final and bottles it, bro. Yeah. Then against England, bottles it. Yeah? And this is why it's comfortable to be at your club. And this is why those are the type of players I don't like. It's all good doing it when the pressure's not on. You're sitting there saying, oh, Arsenal, the pressure's not on. Every time your best player has pressure, he bottles it, bro. There's one thing having ability, there's another thing having mentality. Let me tell you something. Ronaldo has not been the best player since the rivalry of him and Messi. Messi's been the better player. But I'll tell you what, one thing no one is ever going to tell me that Ronaldo doesn't have an elite mentality. Why? Finals, he turns up. Remember the bicycle kick against Juventus? They even stand up, give him a round of applause. Every final, man's turning up. Even with Portugal, we were dark horses. Dark horses, bro. The chances of Portugal winning that Euros were less than Tottenham winning that Champions League final. And what does he do? Even when he's injured, even though he scored every goal to get us in the final, he gets injured and he shows the passion because the mentality is there. Even when he's not on the pitch, that is elite. Yeah? And what you lot praise is exactly why your club is what it is. Yeah? As long as we get to the final, that is progress. It's not about winning it. It's about getting there. As long as we finish above Arsenal, that is okay, even though this has been the worst run for Arsenal, yeah? And this is why your fans, yeah, I'm sorry to say it, are pathetic. Arsenal fans can be pathetic. You guys are up there with us, with the majority of this fan base. Not me and Brandon and Lee Gunnar and Jez and all that. All you care about is, as long as you're in the Champions League, you're happy. As long as you get to a final, it's not about winning it and we better win it or I'm going to start putting my foot down and I'm not having it. It's about, but we get to finals. That's progress. He's 30. If he's not delivering at 30, when's he going to deliver? When he's 45? When he do CR 37? Is that when he's going to deliver? Shocking.
I just want to quickly jump in on this one because either I'm hearing things and I need to go get my hearing tested.
There you do, actually.
Or there's some North London like judge going on. You know, that juju going on in North London. Or this isn't the real Deji. Like, this might be an imposter because I thought I heard Deji say, and correct me if I'm wrong, we've made progress. What are you a top gooner now, yeah? We've made progress and all that. Oh, come on, bro. Don't lower your expectations.
No, but what I don't
do all this. You know,
I'm not lowering expectations.
Giving it all the big one about our fan base, yeah. Earlier on in the street, giving it all the big one about our fan base being bottle job mentality and lowering the standard.
You know what it is?
You're saying, oh well, Harry Kane should stay because we've made progress.
No, what I'm saying to you is, you man are not acknowledging that times have changed. When we were growing up, Tottenham were always mid-table. Then we had the shift of the last 6 seasons where Tottenham were pretty much top 4 and ahead of Arsenal every season. That is progress. Whether you like it or not, Tottenham has made progress. You guys, be real. You never thought you would see Tottenham in any Champions League final, let alone the Champions League final we had with Liverpool. What I'm saying to you, man, is that Tottenham have come a long way. Where Tottenham has been going up, you, man, went back because Champions League was a standard. Winning the league wasn't a standard, but you, man, were always competing for the title. You, man, swapped places with Tottenham. It was almost like you guys swapped brains. And then your fans became like Tottenham fans, where you start to rate players from Spezia and twerk for players like Jorginho, where we go for players like a Poro, like a Basuma, you know, big game players. So when you're telling me about Paris, when you're telling me about Kane, it's unfortunate that Kane has played in the Tottenham team that hasn't won a trophy, but Kane's personal accolades speaks for itself. So you have to put some respect on my man. And I will say this last point.
Yeah, go on.
You man keep talking like Tottenham is out of the competitions. I keep telling you Northside and Brandon every week. Maybe you don't like hearing it, so let me remind you. We're still in your Dusty Cup, and we're still in the Champions League. In fact, we play AC Milan next week. When we slap them up, then what you gonna say?
Let me just say this. By your logic, you're saying that before Tottenham used to finish mid-table, that's your heritage. That's what you grew up on. That's you go to school. Yeah. So you should be happy that you're just thereabouts in the Champions League. Yeah. By that logic, you have a lot of vim for Arsenal. Should Arsenal fans be happy that we've been finishing 4th, 5th, 6th, 8th, spending time at 15th, going back up to 4th, hitting 5th? If this season we finish 2nd, I should be celebrating it then.
Because what Deji is actually saying, inadvertently there, is our standards should be higher because we are a bigger club.
What?
Tottenham were just this little man club. Well, they still are, but they're just this little man club, right? And Arsenal were, like you just said, Arsenal were always competing for league titles. We dropped off. Tottenham caught up. Yeah. And that's kind of how it's become.
No, but you're talking about little man. Let me just break.
I wouldn't say caught up. You lot got to the level when Arsene Wenger dropped off. That is why when I told you about Poch,
we have passed you.
You lot were getting.
We have passed you.
He was doing.
Masters.
Well, hold on, Deji. Is this true or not? What Poch done is what, apart from the Champions League, I'm talking about in the league. What Poch done in the league was what a washed-up Arsene Wenger was doing in the league, finishing top 4. That's what you lot were doing. You never won it, yeah? But you lot celebrate that. We ain't happy with that because that is dead, bro. I don't care about finishing top 4.
Yeah, but you're not even in there now. But you're not even in there now, bro.
Okay, cool. But are you not being serious about winning it? Because you're not happy with what happened. You gave a 3 out of 10 in the January.
We're still in it, bro. Let me tell you. So Brandon was half right. He was half right in the sense that Tottenham weren't used to being where we were, whereas you have. The truth of the matter is, what hurts you, man, is that you, man, are fallen from grace. I know Arsenal have fallen from grace when you twerk for players like Jorginho, when back in the day you had the likes of Perez, and Overmars, Petit, Bergkamp, and now the players that you're bringing to the table, let me tell you, Ben White, Tierney, Marquinhos, Vieda, and Kitty Catty. I mean, it's that Arsenal team today and the great Arsenal team of 18 years ago is night and day. You man hope to pray to get into the Champions League when it should be a standard for you, man. Do you get what I'm saying?
No one's arguing.
And then
who's your manager? Won you your last trophy, the Carabao Cup, the Carling Cup. Who was your manager?
I can't even remember.
Harry Redknapp, wasn't it? Was it Harry Redknapp?
Nah, it was another brother. Yeah,
I don't remember the Mickey Mouse Cup.
Where would you put him? You can't even remember his name. Where would you put him in terms of Tottenham's best managers in your lifetime?
No, he's not. Pochettino's been our best manager so
far.
Cool.
But that guy, his CV is won more than Pochettino. That's my point. And that's what you lot laud up as the savior. You keep saying you want Pochettino back. What did he do?
Do you remember what Let me tell you one thing before we go, because I know we're wrapping up now. Do you know what Pochettino said when he was a Spurs manager? He said, you man keep hyping over the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup, but forget them trophies. You lot should be thinking, if we're ambitious, you should be thinking about the Champions League and the league. That's where I get the Mickey Mouse thing from. I didn't just coin it. Pochettino said it when he was in charge.
Bro, that's wrong again.
No,
that's wrong
no. Pochettino called it a pussy old cup.
No. Pochettino went, yes, Levy, yes, Enoch, I'll do as you say. Because what is it you say about kid and play? Kid and play? What is it you say? I smell pussy. Yeah?
Yeah.
We'll see.
Have you seen it?
That's why that man never won trophy, because he didn't have the balls to go in there and say to Levy, say to Enoch, give me that $1. Let me sign proper players. None of that, oh, give me, little man money and just, bring these players up and all that crap. None of that would have been accepted
Yeah.
at Arsenal, Man United, Liverpool, Chelsea. Hence why Emery got hounded out as quickly as he did. Because let's not forget, the season that Emery was here, yes, we finished fifth. We was only 1 point off of fourth. We made a Europa League final, which, okay, we got slapped up in. But that wasn't enough for us. Whereas, if let's say for Conte, right? If Conte finishes fifth with Spurs this season,
yeah,
and then you go to the Champions League final and you lose and get slapped up, and you don't win the FA Cup, I believe that Spurs would keep him there. I believe they will. And I believe the only reason that Conte would leave is because, like you said earlier, because they're not giving him money. If it was up to Spurs, they would keep him there because they have that mentality, whereas we don't.
Oh, yeah, well, look, I think Tottenham and Arsenal were in two different planes. The only difference between Spurs and Arsenal this season is that you guys are having a freakish season. That's it. Because when I listen to you, man, and I listen to the fan base, you guys don't even believe what's happening to your team. You don't believe it. And when you, man, are jittery over losing to Everton, and the jitters and the toys have gone out the pram. So you, man, aren't ready for the big time. So don't be telling me nothing. Tottenham are vexed.
And Tottenham are ready for the big time.
Tottenham are vexed that we're having a crap season. And as Northside did the numbers, we're only 6 points behind City, my bro. That's the level. That's the difference between our two clubs. Yeah,
bro.
Now you're there playing Zurich. You're playing Zurich and Shakhtar Donetsk. Yeah, that's the sort of level that
you're right, Dej. You've made progress, bro. That's what you said earlier. You've made progress. You've made progress. You know, if you make the Champions League final or FA Cup, you've made progress. We've made progress. You know, we made progress. It's good, my guy. It's good. I can't wait. I can't wait
myself. I
can't wait.
Northside, Brandon, I love you, man, as brothers, but I can't wait.
Northside. You already know, right? Everybody in the chat.
I would chop you, man, up. I swear, Dad. I am waiting for it.
Everybody in the chat, right? This is a weekly thing now. A weekly thing till the end of the season. Don't go missing, Dej. We know you have a tendency of, oh, it's Tuesday, I can't do Tuesday, or it's a bit soon after the loss or whatever. Wow. Yeah, we don't want none of that, right? Yeah. None of that.
Yeah.
The season will end how the season ends.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll all be sitting here crying because none of our teams have won anything, but we'll see. We'll see.
You know what? I'm giving you, man, a virtual handshake right now. I'm not going nowhere. But Brandon and Northside. Let's be here weekly, bro. Let's be here every week, because if you're... I keep saying it. I can't, you know what? I ain't saying no more tonight. I'm not saying no more. Let's see what I go on for this weekend.
You know what? I'll say this before we wrap up. I'll say this. The manager that you're asking to go back to Tottenham hasn't even got the CV of Juan de Ramos, bro. I had to do my Googles because I couldn't even remember the manager that worked. I'm just saying, no matter what you say, yeah, even if your aim was Champions League, you didn't win it, bro. And football, yeah, we look at trophies, bro. And when you look at trophies, that is what's remembered. Juan de Ramos, yeah, whether you like it or not, won you your last cup. Yeah, Poch hasn't done that, and the Poch that you think is your savior,
Poch wasn't backed.
Your savior.
Into
This guy couldn't even win, more cups than a washed-up Arsene Wenger, and I wanted him out, and we wanted him out. So just make sure you remember that. And the last thing I'm gonna say, we got more heritage about winning the Premier League than you ever have winning anything in Europe. So you're talking with chest, bro. You got no European heritage. Neither do us, which is why I'm not putting my chest up about we're definitely gonna win the Europa. Which is why last season I wanted us to take it serious, because the last European Cup we won was the Cup Winners' Cup. Since then we ain't won a European Cup. So at the end of the day, football is about heritage. Remember the guy you remember Marino when he came into your club, start putting up posters of what you won with other clubs, showing you the levels. You ain't got no European heritage. So everything you're saying, you're wishing it. You are wishing it. You've never seen your club win it. So to say that Tottenham, a club that hasn't backed their manager, a manager that's not happy, a team that's actually performing when your current manager isn't in the squad, is going to turn up when your manager's back. Because if you get to the final, he's 100% back in this team. He's going to perform. What's going on there, bro? Because at the end of the day, we've won Premier Leagues, bro. I've seen my club win 3 Premier Leagues in my lifetime, win doubles. When's the last time you've seen your club ever win anything in Europe and you're coming out with chest? I can't wait. You make sure you're here. Because I tell you what, I'm just going to let the floor, I'll let the floor be yours. I'll mute me and Brandon and you just chat, innit? You just chat, bro.
So,
you know what I'm saying? The biggest mistake you ever made in your life is that shirt there. That's the biggest mistake you ever done. And it's a shame because I love you like a brother. You get me? Like, I've got bare love for you. But you made that mistake there. And you know what saddens me? You're making the youths them go through it as well.
I just real quick before
Brandon, because I need to wrap up.
I know, just real quick before we wrap up, right? I just got something to play to Deji, right? I sent this over to Northside earlier. I was hoping that he'd be able to get it on the stream, but just have a little listen to this.
He got it wrong though.
If Man City are found guilty of cheating, look what these teams would have won. Oh, come on. Man United, Liverpool, more Premier League, Stoke and Watford, some FA Cups, Aston Villa, Sunderland, even some League Cups. Oh. Spurs still wouldn't have won anything though. Spursy.
Yeah, but you know that's wrong because we would have won. You know, we lost to City in the Carabao Cup, and that means we would win that. And I think that was 2019 or something. So I already sent my message to Bans and I told him, get your facts right before you do a TikTok or I'll slap your face. What I will do is say this, though. What I will do is say this. Please allow me to do this. So everyone in the chat, you just saw a clip of Brandon and Northside talking on the 8th of February 2023, where they made their prediction for the rest of the season. I'm delighted to tell you that I spoke into the future about Tottenham's results because these streams are history and they're kept. So I want you all to sit back and enjoy because this show today is a montage of the whole season and the rival show for the rest of the year when these two men just couldn't see Tottenham's success like Stevie Wonder. Enjoy.
I said enjoy. Listen, Deji and Brandon, big up for jumping on for the rival show. A big apologies to everyone. Yesterday I had a family emergency. I wasn't able to do the show. But yeah, it's not a regular occurrence, you know. Every time that we got a rival show, Deji has to go on Twitter, you know, do the homework, make sure he gets down all the excuses, do the bullet points. Right there, he's got another screen of all the excuses of what's the Tottenham? Yeah. We got cheated out of that. Yeah, this and that. Yeah, we didn't get the transfer window that we wanted. It's calm. We know this. Every time he's not available straight after the game. But it's cool. That's why I let him chat when he came on the stream, innit? But it is what it is. We love you, Deji. And one day, you know, you can get a proper shirt, something that brings out the melanin in your skin. Yeah, a red shirt. You get what I'm saying? Looks good, bro. You know what I mean? That there, like Brandon said before, looking like uncooked chicken, bro. We know better. We're African, bro. We know about the sauce.
Looking like Nando's on a beach ball.
Wow. That's cool, guys.
Looking like Uncle Ben's rice right now. But it's okay, man. It's cool, bro. It's cool. Listen, Dej, you already know. If you know, today, we let you speak. We let you get it off. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. People, make sure you like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
Make sure you subscribe to Deji Spurs. Make sure you subscribe to True Gunners TV. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And yeah, without further ado, we're out. Safe.